All right, thank you very much. Sorry about the glitch. Welcome to the Northampton Urban Forestry Commission meeting, October 15th, 2025. We will start off at the top of our agenda with announcing that the meeting is being recorded, and we have now public comment period, and we have uh, two folks from the public, Christina White and Ellen S. If you are planning on giving public comment, that would be great. And just I ask you to keep your comments to 3 minutes and just state your name and your address, please. So either one of you can go first. There's no preference. So Chris, I see Christina on the screen. So if you want to go first.
Great. Yes, hello. My name is Christina White. I am at 34 Russellwood Ridge in Florence. And I am a member of the public who works with Northampton City Lights. I wanted to just kind of have all of you keep in your awareness about the problems with artificial light at night, which I'm sure all of you are aware about, and maybe ask for your help in educating the public because night lighting choices directly affect tree health, urban wildlife, and human health. So there are many scientific studies that show that artificial light at night shifts tree timing, so buds and leaf color change, and also leaf drop, which obviously can increase harm to the trees, either through too early or too late of the leaves, and so reduce the benefits that our canopy provides: cooling, cleaner air, habitat. Artificial light at night also disrupts nocturnal insects and migrating birds that use our greenways and making this a forestry concern. The good news is that Northampton already has an ordinance that's updated that aligns with best practices for dark sky, which means shielded lights, down-directed fixtures, warmer color temperatures, limits on glare and trespass, and then also after hours shutoffs. Many businesses do not know that they are supposed to shut off their lights 1 hour after closing.
Hmm.
And enforcement is only complaint-based. So education is really a great option. So Northampton City Lights has made a brochure, and we would be I've given one to Rich for sure, and we'd be happy to bring more to you if there were times or places that you feel like they would be useful to you. Um, and any other way that you could educate. And then also, as new projects come up, for instance, Picture Main Street, making sure that lights are situated so not to interfere with tree health, which the lighting plan doesn't appear to be completely designed. So I think that that is a real concern of ours, and we haven't been able to get good answers. So if you would like more information, we'd be happy to provide it. Northampton City Lights has a website with lots of links. And we greatly appreciate your stewardship of our trees and Northampton's wildlife and environment in general. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you for taking the time to come to our meeting today. Ellen, welcome.
Hi, I'm Ellen Smith. I'm a student at Smith College, and I'm part of the Greenway Lab. I was recommended to join this meeting by Gabby Immerman, who is one of the kind of leaders of the lab. So I'm really just here to be a fly on the wall, um, and get to know a little bit more about what this working with some other students doing a tree planting memorial. And think I have a meeting with Jen Werner tomorrow, so I'm just here to kind of listen in and observe. Yeah, no questions.
Thank you.
Is it tomorrow or Friday?
I think it's
Right, it's Friday. Sorry, I misspoke.
Friday.
Okay.
Friday
Woo.
afternoon.
I was like,
Yeah,
okay, great.
you're making
Yeah.
me nervous because it's my calendar is Friday.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. No worries, no worries. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Um, all right. So we have a set of minutes in front of us from our last meeting, which was on September 17th. So if you have not done so, could you take a few minutes to review them? And let us know if you see any Scrivener's errors or some technical, some text that might need to be corrected, which I didn't see any, although I need
I
to
have
read.
a couple of corrections to the list
Sure.
of attendees.
Yep.
The guests in particular, Stephen Nutter is Nutter,
Uh,
not Stephen Nuttall. And Anesha's last name is Bhowmick. So it'd like be nice to include that.
okay. Sometimes the disadvantages of Zoom, you don't always hear everyone's name.
Right?
Hmm.
Stephen's name is correct later on in the agenda, but it's not corrected in the beginning section.
I'm done.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I read them before.
Rich is done. Just waiting for Kent's
So
thumb.
I'm done.
Okay, all right. Um, are there any other corrections other than what Kent mentioned? All right, cool. Would someone be willing to make a motion, please, to accept the minutes as amended?
I do.
Molly raises her hand. Do we have a second? Kent, is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none. Bonnie, could you call for a roll call, please?
Absolutely. Rich Persilitti,
Yes.
Molly Hale,
Yes.
Jen Werner,
I think I have to abstain because I wasn't here. Is that true? Oh,
No.
okay. Yes, then I'll just vote yes.
okay, Richard Parrish,
Yes.
and Kent Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Okay. So chair report. So, well, let me follow up with, in our last meeting, we had a discussion, about the 39 Day Avenue project or Glenwood, the Glenwood Avenue. I think I spoke to you about potentially there being another conflict with another public shade tree at the end of Glenwood. There is I think it's a four building, four separate buildings that are being built at 39 Day between 39 Day and Glendale, Glenwood Avenue. They have, originally they were going to be doing overhead utility work there in order to feed the buildings. But because the overhead utility work that was designed by Eversource, sorry, wrong utility, National Grid, um, would have required the removal of the last public shade tree on the street, which was a 7-inch pin oak.
Hmm.
So the poll petition to do this work, obviously, as poll petitions are vetted, Grid puts together a design for a particular project. And if they require a new pole placement in a place where a pole does not exist, then they have to ask for a poll petition and the city council has to approve it. So this poll petition made its process through the DPW and stopped on my desk and the director's desk. And after exhaustive discussions with the utility company, with the property owner who's building the units, it was we gave a recommendation that the utility company and the property owner should try to work together to find an alternative route to put power into the building to save the buildings to save the last public shade tree on the street. So that recommendation goes to the city council, and then the city council votes up or down on whether or not to grant the poll petition, and they did not grant the poll petition. So the public shade tree is remaining.
Hmm.
So the utility company, the engineers, and the contractor and developer have to find a different way to get underground. I think they still want to go underground, but they may end up going overhead in a different direction. I'm not sure. I haven't seen any plans yet. So um,
Where did you say this was? At the end of
at
Glenwood?
at the end of Glenwood, which is right across from Sheldon Field.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on the
Yep.
huh.
Yeah. So um, so with that, that's like old business in essence. I was fortunate enough to spend a few days at the New England chapter ISA International Society of Agriculture um, conference, which was held in Southbridge. Yeah, Southbridge, next to Sturbridge. I always say Southborough, it's Southbridge. Where I learned, obviously every time I go to one of these conferences, I meet new people and I've learned something new. And the if you remember the sawtooth oaks that we planted, and I don't know who was with us planting them. I don't know, Rich, if you were there, or maybe Jen with Rob over on Hawley Street. Apparently, they are considered on an invasive tree.
Oh no.
Yeah, and looks like Jen shaking her head. She already knew this. Jen, why didn't you tell us?
Well, this is what I knew is that Rob tried them out.
Yes.
And then there's only a couple. There's like two or three. There's not very many.
Yep.
And he tried them out and then he found out. So they've been there for a little while.
Yeah. And they actually have done really well.
Mhm.
They've done
Of
really
course.
well. Yeah, of course, right?
They would.
That's what they're, um, so I'm trying to think of the website and I'm going to send it to you in an email and some of you may have seen it already. It's the regional office of like the climate change. And Molly, you may have been familiar with this. And I'm just trying to find the website and I had it and I closed it by accident. It's like Bethany Brantley climate. Hold on a second.
I don't think it's on the prohibited plant list for the state yet.
I don't think it is either, but
It probably
she made a case for no, it was just not trees, it was other woody plant material
Mhm.
and pollinators as well. Um, and it's gonna drive me crazy. I will find it. So that was a great talk. There was another great talk there about beech leaf disease.
Mm.
And how and a extension professor and researcher, also a PhD from Connecticut at the Connecticut Experiment Station, has been doing a bunch of studies on how beech leaf disease potentially it migrates from tree to tree. And of course, I think originally we thought that the nematodes, after they are emerge, they are sort of windblown or they are moved around from tree to tree by birds. Turns out that the nematodes are not moved by birds like we think they are. They may be, but not to the extent that would impact our forested landscape. They are moved by water, by rainwater, and they are moved by wind. So once the nematode has emerged, it can be carried away by wind. And of course, the nematode does most of its damage in the wintertime. So the whole goal is to try to prevent the nematode from getting into the bud to begin with. And there's more research, but they've done research with I think it's a phosphate, which is one of the essential elements for trees, and they have done a bunch of trials on phosphate treatments
Hmm.
on trees that are infected with beech leaf disease at different stages, and they've seen good luck. They've had good luck.
Wow.
I don't know at this point if that research is been peer reviewed or it's just anecdotal just because of the individual person working on it, so that remains to be seen. I'll send you a link to that too if you're interested in reading about it.
I would like to read about it.
Okay. All right.
It's amazing though that that beach leaf disease, it seems like has spread incredibly fast.
It
I've
has.
seen it so many different places, like even way up in northern Maine. It's well established in the forest.
Yes.
Hmm. They know, have any idea how it got here?
Off the top of my head, I'm going to say no.
Because foliar nematodes are really not super common just in general. I
They
mean, the
are,
only place I ever heard, I've never seen one except now with beech
yep,
leaf was in greenhouses that
yep.
were like
Mm.
distributing it by cuttings and the way they were watering. But I, yeah, it's weird.
So, excuse me, I'm sorry. Just to back up for a second, I found the website. It's called Regional Invasive Species and Climate Change Network, RISCC network.com, network.org. And they have regions across Canada, North Central, Northeast, Northwest. So Northeast is the interesting link, obviously, because that's where we live. But they have lots of very interesting resources. I haven't had a chance to really drill through it all. There's just so much information.
Can you
But again,
repeat that?
what's that?
Can you repeat the website?
Sure. It's RISCC
Yeah, I
network.org.
think I have seen that. Okay, great. Thanks.
One of the things that Bethany told us was that, like many of these climate related initiatives, their funding is in jeopardy. So she was unsure as to how long um, they would, they would be able to continue um, to run everything. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Um, let's see, what else did we, I mean, there was just multiple talks. Has anyone read the book? And I'm not going to remember the name of the book now, of course. I'm really having a Take to the Trees. Has anyone read the book Take to the Trees?
Mm-mm.
So I'll send you that link as well. This is a story. Marguerite Holloway is the author, and it's a story of hope. Um, Let me see. Story of Hope, Science, and Self-Discovery in the America's Imperiled Forest by Marguerite Holloway. So this book basically talks a lot about the forested landscape, the urban tree canopy, people that take care of the urban tree canopy, their stories of foresters and uh,
Mm.
urban ecologists or urban foresters. Uh, it also actually Christina Bezanson is in this book, and
Mm.
also the Levangie twins, Bear and Melissa. If you are familiar with them, they have been they have the women's tree climbing workshop. It's they travel around the country and they provide tree climbing for men and women, but they've been focusing on women who are trying to excel in tree climbing. So they're in this book because they have been around the circuit for a long time. They were in this business long before I was in this business. So they're awesome. But so that was the keynote speaker, but the conference was very good. So I enjoyed myself. Also a little different feel. So a couple of you have been to the Mass Tree Wardens Conference. This conference was different because it spans all the New England states. So you have a lot of different representation from different parts of the tree care industry. It's not just municipal folks, it's commercial folks, it's consulting arborists, it's educators. They have different vendors. You have municipal folks there. You have a lot of utility specialists from the utility companies that are there. So it's quite a mix of different folks, and you get a really nice perspective. So I went to that. I also was able to participate in the tree steward training, which I'm sorry that Kent and Molly, you were not, you did not attend. You missed my great talk on tree ordinances, bylaws, and regulations, which was they put me in the worst time, which is at 1 o'clock, right
Right
after
after
lunch,
lunch.
and I'm talking about like the law, and like who wants to hear about the law after lunch?
Oh,
So I was unsure as to what type of response I was going to get, and I was surprised that the response over the 2 day class was pretty amazing, actually. People asked a lot of different questions. And of course, I showcase what we've done through our regulations, also the significant tree ordinance, and just our whole effort to try to, we've created a wonderful urban forestry program or initiative, and how we've been able to make it sustainable. And, again, I heap of praise to everyone that's been on the commission, been on Zoom meetings, Tree Northampton, all the other volunteer organizations that you know, that we've connected with have made it possible. So that was nice as well. And then we got to plant a few trees in Worcester, which was kind of cool too. So so that's really my quick tree report. There are no public shade tree hearing requests right now in the pipeline, so we don't have anything of that nature. And that's really about it. Any questions? Okay, I will get you that information. I'll send you the links to those things as I asked. Kent, I haven't forgotten. I started to clean up that database today, and I still have to finish it, and I will get it to you by Friday afternoon. And if I don't, then you have every right to give me a hard time.
I'll march right over there and give you a
That's fine.
talking to.
That's fine. I will be more than happy to receive it. Um,
And I'm gonna bring Rich Parrish with me.
oh geez, the guy with the pruners, watch out. Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that because I just wanted to say thank you, special shout out and thank you to Rich Parrish. Um, one thing I wanted to update you on is that we are doing a couple of sidewalk reconstruction projects that Gomes Construction was the awarded vendor or the awarded construction outfit. And one of them is on Elm Street between the high school and CDH. So those trees that we planted in 2018, is that right, Rich? 2018 are humming along. They're growing beautifully, but we needed to do some clearance pruning, and Rich was gracious enough to come out and take care of it. But again, that's a project, just like I've shown you photographs in the past. There's going to be structural soil used as retrofitting for the existing trees. There's going to be porous pavement there. There's going to be air spading, root pruning, also using an air vacuum to remove some of the soil, using water, which is another way of doing it. It's a little less dusty. So that project they haven't mobilized yet. I'm assuming they're probably going to mobilize this coming Monday, but I just want to say thank you to Rich. So they look great, by the way. Okay. So, um, okay. Moving on to our next topic. So, this topic, care and maintenance of existing trees, was something that David Lukens wanted to speak about, and David unfortunately couldn't be here. So I had to draft the agenda last Thursday because of the holiday. So I didn't know. So a couple of things that I will just throw out there that David had in his email to me, a couple of bullet points, is, watering the newly planted trees, replacing the dead trees, which we have been doing. Um, also removing or turning over the trunk wrap that's on a lot of the trees because a lot of the trunk wrap has now gotten to be the tree's too large and the buttress roots sort of push them up. And then the other thing he wanted to talk about was the planting new trees near the new basketball court at JFK, which I know
mhm.
was on our list of places to plant by the tennis courts, but we decided to after the request from the school department, we decided to wait. So I didn't know if you wanted, any one of you wanted to talk about any of these topics. I'm more than happy to. Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Rich, you
Sorry.
can go first.
Go ahead, Rich. Sorry.
Okay. Just an idea that myself and a couple other of the Tree Northampton volunteers have been kicking around here lately in towards kind of a long-term program for care of the young trees. And what it would look like would be for our group, all the group of volunteers that are on our lists, whoever of them is interested in participating would sign up to, say, adopt a certain area of the city, their neighborhood, or some particular area that we could choose off of the map, such as the map that Kent is making, showing the location of all of our trees in the city. The volunteers would adopt an area, and then they would be in charge of maintaining the young trees in that area, such as weeding, working with the trunk guards, and some other, say, minor tasks. And then they could also record the health of trees that are looking like they're having problems. They could report back to a central person for further action on problematic trees. But this would this would avoid having to muster a whole group of people on certain days and times to go out and work in certain areas, which is kind of problematic. So among all our group of volunteers, that we might have 15, 20 on our lists. We could also accept other people from the city that want to get in on the program, but I see that as a way of kind of keeping an eye on all the trees, ongoing. So we can comment on that, and then one other kind of unrelated issue is the watering. It would seem to me a good idea if we could put, say, door hangers on the residents of where we plant trees in the tree belt, just kindly asking them to water the trees when it's dry in front of their property. Of course, yes, they are city trees, but in some nicely worded way, asking them to help the trees out by watering them. That might cut down on the DPW's need to do that. And I know of certain places in the city where people have just taken it on themselves to water the trees in front with significant benefits to those trees. So if we could just kind of incorporate that into our planting program, and I don't think anybody could complain about it. They could ignore it, but it could only help. So those are two initiatives: the volunteer oversight of trees and the watering request. Comments?
I like the volunteer idea, adopt a neighborhood. Sorry about my phone ringing right now.
Thanks, Rich, for taking the initiative on this. And thank you for the map. You printed out some of them, and to Kent, it's beautiful. Yeah, I'd love to sign up to look at some trees. On the watering thing, Rob Postal had some talking points, and he calculated the amount of water, and it seems like a lot of water when you're doing it, but he came up with 2 years of watering a tree to, if you use your city water, it was something like $5. So even though it seems like a lot, I don't know how he did the math, but someone wanted to do the math on that. was very persuasive that, you could go out there and give it 15 gallons a week, whatever, if you didn't have an inch of rain. And it really doesn't cost that much. So as you say, they are city trees, but it really makes a difference. I think it's a good idea. And if like say if they've outgrown their little sleeve, their protector, their guard, um, they should still stay on. You should just undo the buttons, right?
Yep, you can basically take them off and then turn them the other way so they're shorter. So they're tall
Oh,
this way,
clever.
right? And then you can thank Jen for that one.
Oh, somebody else showed me it. I
Okay,
can't
well,
remember who it was, but I
I
was
don't
like,
know.
oh,
Well,
was it Wendy? I
maybe I don't know.
yes,
So
I
you can
can't
flip
remember.
them over.
Yeah, they're shorter but wider.
Yeah,
Mm.
and I think that I would be some of the larger trees. I would be okay with taking them off, but the only problem with the larger trees, and I'm say for example the trees that are on North Elm Street or Elm Street, while those are have grown considerably, they really should have a ring of
Mulch.
mulch around them. I mean, trees love mulch. I mean, that is proven scientifically that trees love mulch.
Mhm.
And I think having that barrier for equipment or just, it's not going to stop obviously dogs from using the tree or whatever else, and it's not going to stop cars, but at least it's that buffer. And the string trimmers are what are deadly. Like I look at some of
Mhm.
the trees that I planted many years ago in the parks, and they're girdled 3/4 of the way around, and it's just a matter of time before that there's a failure, a stem breakage.
Mhm.
But I think that Rich's concept and the others that he's been working with, in the volunteer group is a great concept. And I think adopting locations like that people can actually walk to from their house or,
Right.
it makes more sense than people having to rely upon driving.
Mhm.
Um, I think logistically, the only if we decided to ask the volunteers to replenish the mulch, that would only logistically that would be a little bit of a potentially a lift just because we'd have to have buckets of mulch here, there. And the
Yeah,
other,
that's the one sticking point there.
I think if we were to do this type of work in the summer months when you're not planting any longer,
Mhm.
when it's not necessarily in season, we might be able to support a drop of mulch. Um, another way
Maybe
of
they
doing
could
it,
even be available for pickup. We could have,
yeah,
I don't know where the mulch comes from, but there could be buckets just staged where people could pick them up.
yep, we can. It's in multiple places. It's at the DPW. We have some at our shop down farther away from the building. Um, and it would just be the mulch that are the wood chips that's arborist wood chips that's just generated from the tree trimmings.
Mhm.
Sue.
I have a couple questions. One is, I know with the pruning and the tree training, you guys really manage the data and track for a care um initiative like we're talking about. Could we do it kind of off the books where we just do as much as we can and we don't, because I'm worried about if we have to track it so much, that's where our volunteers aren't as interested in doing that kind of stuff. Like they love to get out there and do stuff, but like reporting back and then
Mhm.
somebody tracking stuff and then getting it to the tree warden, those are the steps that are the pain points. But how much do you need? How much are you comfortable with, Rich, Tree Warden Rich, of volunteers taking on stuff and like sort of having maybe organizing areas and who's doing things so that if there's a tree, somebody can say, "Hey, it's in your area. Can you go check it out?" Or
I mean, the only thing that I would be, we don't necessarily need to keep the data on what, we don't need to keep the data on when you weed or do mulch work, but we sort of need to know if they've been watered. Because if they're watered like right now, for example, where and this is not a good time, but if we had a normal rainfall year, right now we would be probably around 40, I don't know, maybe 38 inches of rainfall this year so far. We're obviously not there, but you would not, if I was watering trees weekly like we are now with the trees we planted, I would not want to be putting on copious amounts of water accidentally.
Mhm.
You can very easily drown a tree as well.
And
Uh,
hypothetically, if we were gonna just do informal mulching, can we use the chips just at the city yard?
yes, yep.
And do people need a pass,
Well, that's a little that can be a
or can
sticking
they
point.
just pull up and take the,
Usually people that access the transfer station area have to have a valid they have to have a valid transfer station pass.
But
Um,
I think they only check that if you go towards the,
it's a question that I can ask.
yeah, because I've gotten chips up there and I don't have a transfer station pass.
Okay.
But I don't use the garbage and the
Yeah.
recycling
Yeah.
at that particular site on Locust Street. And I've never had a problem. I just get chips.
Okay.
My only question with I think it's a huge need, and I like the neighborhood idea. I think that's really the way to do it. Because I've had people approach me and say, "Can you just get me a list of trees?" And I guess I wasn't aware of the map development, which is brilliant, because then somebody could just look at it and get their own addresses. Because I just don't have the capacity to coordinate that. So I'm not clear if we need a point person ultimately. I don't know, because the other thing is removing stakes. Like there's like stakes that are like, laying all over the place, and
blowing in the wind?
yeah, and even setbacks, I would assume, are on that list. Are the setback trees on that list too?
Yep.
Yes.
Because I think there's a lot of setback trees that just kind of we've lost. I don't know if we've lost track of them, but I don't, they're not as apparent. Let me put it that way. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if we need to get a person who can, I don't know, be the advice giver, or, if somebody says, yeah, I want to do this in my neighborhood, somebody would have to say, okay, here's where the map is. Here's where you go get chips, blah, 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 whatever it is. Dispose of your own weeds, whatever, I don't know what those things would be, but I think people would be willing to do it. People were, willing to go out this summer and early in the fall when we couldn't plant, and I just couldn't. I personally can't take on that other layer of. So I don't know if I don't. Maybe I don't understand totally how it would work.
Well, I don't think nobody was pointing to you, Jen, but
Oh, I don't think you were.
You're doing a lot.
since I could help initiate the project, it would mean having a gathering of people, ideally with our maps on the table, people choosing, their locations and agreeing, and then giving them perhaps say maybe some written guidance as to what tasks will be, everything from weeding to guards to stakes to mulch, give them that protocol. And then I think it would kind of run on autopilot for most of the period, perhaps next summer, fall. And where there are special concerns, they could report back, say, to me or whoever the point person will be, with concerns. This tree looks like it's dead, this tree problem. And then myself or somebody else could visit that. But I think once the setup is done, it should be pretty much self-sufficient, particularly if the people just, really take on the task themselves and run with it. And I think a lot of our volunteers are like that. They've been planting or pruning trees for a long time, so I think they'd be good with it. And So we could kick this around some more. Maybe I'll outline some more for it, maybe for a later discussion with the idea of, say, early next summer after planting season, we could kick that off. So,
Molly.
I talked to you about this before, Rich Parasolidi. I would be willing to, well, when I went out with Jen last week, we went out and walked along Ryan Road and identified planting sites.
Mhm.
And while we were doing that, we noticed some of those tree guards that were getting too tight.
Yep.
And I would be willing to go out if there was a list of trees that were like the right age category that likely were in need of loosening up those things. I could go out and do that. And then, I mean, that could be like before the volunteer thing starts or after it starts, I could do areas that the volunteers don't have or whatever. But I could get to maybe some of the more priority ones and do that. That's a pretty easy thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah, that part's really easy. Weeding is a little bit more. Sometimes it's really easy though, because we've been using mulch, and if they had plenty of mulch when we planted them, the weeding, I mean, it varies. Sometimes there's those horrible grasses and it's tough as nails, but the weeding is a really good thing too. Maybe we could like get people to say where they did it. I don't know. It's hard to coordination. And John, you are doing it a lot, so certainly not you.
I mean, I think it's if folks have designated an area, sorry, Kent, I get to you in 1 second. If folks have designated an area for doing this work, then I don't necessarily need to know they're doing it.
Okay, good.
The only time I would need to know if they're doing something is if I would get a call from a resident if you walked on the property for a setback tree. So that's sort of the maybe a little bit of a fly in the ointment. But I mean, obviously, if you can knock on the door and have a conversation with them, it's very difficult sometimes to be able to communicate with people that even people were wanting to plant trees like on Ryan Road. You'd have to like knock on every single door and talk to someone like you're running a campaign because it's virtually impossible to like email a whole bunch of people because you don't capture all that information. They have old phone numbers, so on
Yeah,
and so forth.
right.
So um the only thing that I would be concerned about would just be the watering. I just don't want to overwater the trees, that's all.
Yeah, right.
Um and anything is better than nothing, and a lot of the trees that we've planted do need to have new refresh mulch because the mulch decomposes, weeds take over, and some of those weeds, it's not just pulling, it's actually getting a shovel and sort of
Mm,
going down a little bit and then skinning off the top until you get to the composty type wood chip material that's left broken down, and then take the weeds out and put new mulch on it. So it's a little,
mm.
it's a little laborious. It can be laborious, I guess, but
Well, that sounds like a good kind of task to include in the adopted neighborhood kind of plan. Because it's a significant amount of work, but it's doable in a certain area.
yeah.
We're
And
also
it,
seeing some
yeah.
of those.
Oop, hold on, Sue. Let Kent. Kent's got his hand up.
Oh yeah, Kent, go Kent.
Thank
Sorry.
you. So a few thoughts. First, I think that's a great idea. I think it's important to set the guidelines and let people know, what kind of things that they're being asked to do. I think that's really helpful. Um, like for me, I would feel like empowered to do these things that are on the list and not be so nervous about it. Um, as far as the tracking, I mean, this is doing stuff that's not otherwise being done, right?
Hmm.
So in a way, whatever happens is just bonus. And
yeah.
maybe it's not so important to know that it's happening, but just know that some trees are getting some extra TLC and that's great. Um, the watering seems like a separate thing because it's really the homeowners that we want to water. Not, I mean, I'm not gonna be watering carrying 5-gallon buckets of water around my neighborhood or something to water the trees. If I had a new tree in front of my house, I would water that. So I wonder if we need a follow-up program. I mean, the city waters the new trees for 2 years. Is that right, Rich?
We water them until they don't need to be watered any longer typically. You know,
So
we're like last year we watered trees we planted 5 years previously.
Wow.
Yeah,
all
we
right,
have, yeah, so I mean it depends on the drought. In the last 2 years we've had a little bit of drought. Uh,
yeah,
but again,
right.
the
So
the other thing too is that if we're gonna the other thing we need to think about, if bigger discussion, just keep the back of our heads, is that we use in the tree diaper at the moment. So if you have a resident that
yeah,
actually goes out there and just waters the tree diaper in a drought situation like we had, the tree diaper will absorb some of that water, but most of that water is just going into the ground. So effectively, a water bag for someone to put a hose into is a measurable amount.
Mm.
Visually, it's a little easier. It's regulated a lot slower, so there's not that water just running off going into the gutter because the ground is
Mm.
hard as a rock.
yeah,
So just when we go to have the watering part conversation, which I think is could be part of this project, a part of this initiative, but might need to be a separate section,
yeah.
you know?
Just one other thing about the
Sure.
Molly, you were talking about going and finding the older trees and removing the tree guards. I do have an interactive map that shows by year, and you can click off the newer years. I don't know how old a tree needs to be before we start thinking about removing the tree guard, but
Hmm.
you could go and just see trees that were planted 5 years ago, for example.
Yeah,
And
that'd be great. If you have a list that can be organized by year,
well, I
that
have a
would be,
map that can be organized by year.
yeah.
Um, I don't know if I can put it something in the chat, probably.
If you had a map and you could do like each year a different color dot, that would be the most helpful because if I'm nearby like a tree that was
So
planted five
it's
years
in,
ago, there might be one not too far away that was planted 4 years ago.
yeah, it's in the chat now.
Oh, awesome.
And then, Kent, is it possible for you to email a link of that to Bonnie Nethouse so that
Sure,
it's,
to get
Ooh,
it into the
look at that.
technically
minutes,
we're not supposed to use chat for public meetings?
right?
Mm.
I had a feeling I was doing something bad while I was putting
No,
my
you do.
name,
I have a
but
copy of the map and it has a different color for trees. It starts
yeah,
in
that's a
2015.
different one.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's colored lights swirling over here at my house, you know?
oh yeah. Oh no, they got you.
The
They
flare,
got you.
no, for the jet thing.
But,
Just kidding.
Kent, you should get the updated batch of trees from
Yeah, I'll
Rich
add it as soon as I
before you
get
send
that from
anything out.
Rich.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. That map is fantastic because I could go out there and then just print out the map and then put X's on the ones that I've turned around the tree collars.
Well, no, you printing it out, you don't get any level of detail. But I printed one out at 36 inches for
But
that map at 36 inches wide, and it it helps, but it's not the detail you would want to use. You would want the interactive map on your phone as you're driving around. That is
oh,
the detail you would want.
huh.
So don't worry about printing it out unless you want to stare at
Well,
it at home.
I was thinking I could just print out certain areas at a time, but the
Yeah,
one on the phone would be the best.
Yeah.
well,
What,
this one that I sent the link to, you can definitely look at it on your phone.
how do you, and when you're traveling around, it would show where you are on the map?
Not sure about that, but you probably know where you are, so you can find that part
Yeah,
on
yeah.
there.
No, no.
Huh. Okay,
I
cool.
could actually add a button to show you where you are.
Oh, really? And the phone would go into GPS mode?
Yeah,
Oh, Kent, you're so
This would
clever.
be part of the training. Like when you have the meeting and this would be here, this is where
Yeah.
access. Yeah.
Yes, that would be rolled out along with the program, but having, say, a large paper map that you could put on the wall and have people, sign up for areas and not fighting over this or that.
Yeah.
I think that would be the way to start it off.
Hmm.
So maybe early next year, we could have an assembly of volunteers to initiate that.
Hmm.
Rich, a
Mhm.
semi-related question.
Mhm.
All these tree diapers, are they meant to be there permanently or what? What
3 years, 3 years.
So you would see, say, volunteers picking them up then after a 3-year period, or will you guys do that?
Well, we've picked them up. I mean, a lot of them I see have getting hit with lawnmowers, and the reason they getting hit with lawnmowers is because the mulch ring is gone, or they get weed whacked
Yeah.
because someone doesn't want to stop and bend over and pull the weed that's between the tree diaper and the edge. And so we've picked them up. We've only used them for this is our second season using them exclusively. But this year we did go out and put water bags on all the trees that we planted last year had got water bags, including the tree that we left the tree diapers there, put water bags right on the top so Brooke could dispense the water for the trees that were planted in 24. And we did some trees that were planted in 23, but their stress level, although unfortunately, I think some of their stress was due to the drought from last year. So it's a cumulative effect, the stress that they've been under. But if we were to take the tree diapers away after 3 years and we have a drought like we had like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, we'd have to dig deep and put out 1,500 to 1,800 tree diapers. And that takes 2 trucks, and that's 40 hours a week per person. So that's 80 hours plus 350 gallon loads a day, you know. So, I mean, this is why I think it's actually good that we've taken a step back in the last year and a half in the quantity of trees we're planting and being more strategic. Because I think it's a good thing in order to try to, we need this keeping the sustainable piece and thinking about how we're going to manage these things going forward is still sort of catching up. This is why this is a great idea, Rich, and I think it would be helpful. The DPW unfortunately does not have the capacity to go back and mulch all the trees that need to be mulched.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I'm willing to, if you'd like to meet offline about this at some point, I'm fine with that. Or maybe I just have a phone conversation if you have questions. So yeah.
All right, I'll kind of outline this a little bit more
Okay.
for everybody, and then maybe we'll put it on the agenda down the road.
Okay.
Just one other quick thing. I wonder for the more recent setback plantings, I don't know how easy it would be to get a list to email those people to remind them that they agreed to water. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know how hard that would be.
It would be, I just got to charge my computer. Sorry. It would be, I'd have to go back to the agreements and we'd have to call all their email addresses, contact information. And hopefully those people still live there.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Sometimes people move and the
Yeah,
agreement
yeah.
stays and we don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So,
It's a little
onerous. One other thing we could do too is that we did create back in the day, sorry about that. Back in the day, we did create a particular water bag tag. And I think Jen and maybe Sue, you were here when we did that.
Yeah, I think Lily was part of that. Yeah.
A big, we had them made. They were fashioned sort of after like what maybe Cambridge had them or Springfield had them. Big tag that sort of hung right on one of the loops and um we could take a look at that and actually potentially either turn that into a door hanger or turn it into another tag. And those were the kind of they were not made out of paper. They were some sort of like polymer,
Mhm.
almost a laminated, feel like a laminated texture, but there was not paper in the middle of them. I don't know what the terminology is that they use, but those seem to work out.
Do you think they were effective? Do you think people filled the
It's
bags? Do you
it's
know what I
hard
mean?
it's hard to say because by the time that it you could tell it was effective when you went to a house that had two or three trees in front of it, and there was the third tree was like in and right on the very edge of the next property, and the hose just didn't go far enough.
Mm.
That tree, was already turning, right? The ground was dry. You pick up the water bag of these other two trees, and they're damp.
Mhm.
So, but as far as like motivating people, I can't gauge.
Yeah.
I don't have any metrices. And I think people are well intended to say they're going to water things, but then, you know, it just gets away from you and there's a
Mhm.
thousand things to do. And, but trees really, I mean, we all know this, they need water. Without water, they just are not going to make it. And so I think it would be um it's a really good conversation to have about all of this. I think it's important because the trees that we're responsible for, the much larger trees, right? Someone took the time to take care of those trees when they were young.
Mhm.
And, some people had running water, some people didn't. So I don't know who watered them. I don't know how they got. Of course, the climate was a little different. Our weather patterns were different, but it's pretty impressive. So if they can do it, we surely can do it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So,
Yay.
yep. Um, again, I'm willing to have follow up conversations whenever after Rich, if you put a little outline together, that would be great to help us all sort of see what it looks like.
Can I just ask in the meantime,
Hmm.
how do you actually undo those tree wrap things?
Just pull them apart.
Oh, just yank them apart?
Yeah. Have you ever had to replace like your glass in your door in your car or anything of that nature? The panel,
Uh-uh.
the faux panel where the armrest is.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have they have clips that have like serrated edges, and they go in very nicely one way, but they don't come out very nicely the other way. They're
Oh,
the same
okay,
way.
yeah.
So I would recommend doing them when it's warm. Do them in the afternoon. Don't do them and when it's really cold because that's plastic. They're very stiff and not very they don't release very well. So you just pull them
Oh,
apart. And then you can
And
reuse them.
wear gloves.
Wear gloves.
oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
And something to note is that we've switched to using, because we've been reusing those guards, and we've switched to fastening them with zip ties. So you might run across that. You
Yeah.
might want to have some little mini zip ties. And I wanted to clarify, make sure everybody's on the same page. We put them on when we plant the tree, then the trees grow, and we want to keep them on as long as we can. So there's the idea of flipping them
Hmm.
so that they can be wider and accommodate a larger girth, but we
Hmm.
don't want them tight on the tree. So when we flip them, we're going to buy a couple of years probably, I'd say. And then at
Possibly.
some point, they're going to be too small to fit the tree.
Hmm.
So we don't want to just take them off until we have to, because they do provide a level of protection. Just it's a visual cue to somebody, not to hit the tree, and a physical barrier as well. So I just wanted to make sure everybody understood what we're talking about when you see those plastic things,
Hmm.
and they're tight. That's not good. They can be flipped, but then if they still don't fit, so you just like pull them apart, or you're going to start seeing them that are held together with zip ties. You're going to have to cut those off and have some of those mini zip ties. I think they're pretty cheap.
Can anybody see that? Yeah. Oh,
It's blurry.
okay. Hold on. I'm gonna try to.
Mess around with it. You'll get it eventually.
Well, this is
Pull
a
it back
picture.
towards you a little bit. Just a little bit. Nope,
A little more, a
forward.
little more.
Oh,
Oh, it's coming in. Oh yeah. Let's see. What is it
Okay.
though?
That
Oh
is,
It's
no,
a
it's a
kernel of the
strap.
tree.
yep. So this was a tree that had the black
Oh,
plastic on it.
oh
That
no.
the little tabs got tossed,
Oh,
and then someone used arbor tie
Oh,
to tie around the bottom of it. So my only
oh.
caution when using zip ties is that you don't zip tie around the tree.
No, no.
You zip tie the plastic together.
yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I utilize these kinds of and this is at Jackson Street School.
Oh,
So so anyways, just a word of caution. That's all.
Did
all
People,
that
the
tree, is that
urgency
tree gonna
to,
survive?
Brooke dug it out. We're gonna see what happens. My guess is there will probably always be some sort of injury in there that will be compartmentalized over time. Hopefully the tree, when it'll grow
Mm,
inward and it'll come back out again, but
mm,
eventually the trunk will. So when that tree is removed 100 years from now, when they take it down, they're going to see this strange
mm,
growth ring that is basically been compartmentalized
mm,
because of that, the injury. So,
mm.
but yeah. Any other questions? This is a good conversation to have. I appreciate everyone's input. Um, okay, the next topic is fall tree planting. Oh, let's go back for a second to care and maintenance. Rich, do you have a sense of, are you going to wanting to have another pruning training like we've done in the years past? And
Yes. And
when do you want to think after Thanksgiving, first week of December?
yeah, about that time.
Okay.
And I was thinking of maybe doing it by Zoom. You get better participation.
Okay.
And since it's by PowerPoint, it's not much different than a live meeting.
Okay. All right.
So I'm going to poll the various volunteers to see who's interested and available this year, and
Okay.
then we'll plan that meeting.
Okay. All right. All right. Just keep me posted. I could host the Zoom, if you like, or we could figure out a way to do that so we can reach um multiple folks that are interested that would not normally be able to be at the in-person one.
Right.
Okay. Next topic is fall tree planting update and new planting locations, and I'm gonna turn this one over to Jen.
Okay, so we had to start planting a little bit late because of how dry it was, but we've had 4 plantings so far, and we've planted, as of today, 39 trees, which is a lot of trees.
Mm.
So we're doing okay. And we have approximately 10 to 12 setbacks this fall, which is a lot. That's a nice number of setbacks, and we're chipping away at those right now. We're kind of I'm prioritizing those to get those in the ground. We did a big planting of 10 trees on Armory Street and in Armory Street parking lot, with Rich coordinated with the parking folks, and that's part of the heat island, and we lost a bunch of ash trees there, so we put in honey locust in that area. So that was a good day. Molly mentioned that she and I went out and put stakes along Ryan Road. We had to remove a few of them, but that's not unusual when you put a bunch of stakes out. So there was some residents asked to have them removed, and then Rich was kind enough to drive up, and there was one place visibility wise we had to remove them. So those will be probably next spring, or we'll have to figure out which kind of trees to put in there. I have a meeting, and I'm not sure if you can attend, Rich, with Gabby Immerman with the Mill River Memorial Tree Program. So,
Is that in person somewhere? I didn't.
yeah, we're gonna meet at the Lyman Plant House just
Yep.
because it's in another room, and she said it'll be easier if we just like
Okay.
met there.
All right.
Um, I might be a few minutes late, but I have her number, so I'm gonna text her.
Okay.
So that's kind of on the docket. I'm not quite sure. They got a small amount of grant, and she's got some Smith College students that are working with that. I've been meeting with Smith Vocational School, trying to get some plantings in the front of the school. I'm working on that. They also wanted us to plant on other parts of the grounds that I was not totally clear what the guidelines are. So Rich and I squared that away, and I've got an email going out to them about that. And I met today with a William Brady, who's a Northampton High School junior who has planted with us a few times and is really interested in this industry. And I'm working with him to potentially set up some kind of unpaid internship. So he's going to contact the person at the school who does internships. And I talked to him about winter pruning, and he was pretty interested. I think it would be cool to get him mentored, and he's tall too. So that's that's always a plus out there when we winter prune. But he was pretty interested in that, and he's also really interested in the industry. So I thought it would be helpful for him to like codify that he's doing this. It would help him get into school and get a job. So I did offline. I want to talk to you, Rich, about figuring out a time that you can meet with him. He's a really nice guy, and I think there's a lot of jobs in the urban forestry right now, in general. So that's kind of a bright spot that I'd like to see us be able to kind of get him as involved as we can. I'm going to hopefully take him out when I look at dig safe markings and stuff like that when I can. The other thing I just wanted to mention, that I was up at Village Hill the other day, and I can't remember the name of the street. It's by the park that's in there that those big beech trees are. And we did a succession planting there for ash trees. So Bob Haxby pruned those ash trees way up, and we knew they were going to die, but the intention was to get some trees started before they died. And I think we planted them 2 years ago, maybe 3. They're sweet gums. They look incredible. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. I was blown away at how much they've grown. And I think those ash trees are almost done. But it was just a real success. I mean, the trees are almost some of them are as tall as the ash trees that were there.
Jen, thanks for saying that, because I haven't seen them, and that was one of those days when I forget why, but we had massive amount. Maybe we had bare roots. I don't know. We had huge plantings that day and a lot of people, and you always wonder how the trees are going to do.
Yeah.
So that's great news.
Yeah, they look
bare root.
I think, were they bare roots?
I don't know. I know it was a big planting day.
I can't remember.
And we had lots of
They were grow
residents.
bags.
They were grow bags?
They were grow bag. We had a lot of people.
Moser Street, right?
Yep.
Is that the name of it? Yeah.
I guess it was because we had the volunteers from the neighborhood there. It was
yeah.
Which is a different scene than when we just have the trained people.
Yeah.
That's great news.
Yeah.
So Hubbard, we did too. I don't think
I was blown. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, we finished Hubbard Street, and that street had no trees on it, none. So I think Rob was working down those neighborhoods, and he just never got there. So one side is underwire, and the other side was tree belt trees, and
there's
those
still a couple streets there. Sherman, I think it's called, and I think there's another street there too that hasn't really had much attention.
Yeah, some of them don't have sidewalks, so we would need, I
Yeah.
think we would need to do door hangers on the street, which we could do. That's not a, we should put our heads together, Sue, and I can make a list, because that, I mean, that would be
They're
something.
hard streets to get to because you have to go down to the roundabout and back
Yeah,
around.
yeah, yeah.
Um, we also did Saturday, we did a tree replacement on Pomeranian, a replacement on Holly. The one on Holly had no roots.
Oh,
So we'll see. It was a Kentucky coffee tree, so maybe it'll make it.
mm-hmm. Hmm.
Just little stubs.
Yeah. Oh, bummer.
Hmm.
So, and the goal is to, Rich and I talked about this today, is we're going to try to, clear out the nursery as much as we can before the winter, which I think we should be able to do. I think we should be able to get most of the stuff out of there. So,
And that
um,
would mean how many more trees?
I would have to, I don't know that off the top of my head. I would have, and I'm very bad at like, remembering numbers or estimating numbers. So I wouldn't even want to throw a number out there, but I have a sheet that has, and Christina and I just caught one that I had, missed. So that was good. So, so we have a few more plantings and we have one more dig safe to do, which has 2 properties. But yeah, so people are happy to come out and plant. We're much more efficient than we ever have been. People know what they're doing. So, we like, we planted those 10 trees in Army parking lot in record time, but
The
they
same
were
with
close together and stuff.
Hubbard too.
Yeah, people know what they're doing. So it's great. Any questions? I think that's
Did people plant today?
yes, we planted 9 trees. Some were we were on Avis Circle with some replacements. We put one down, bald cypress down in Florence Fields that had died. We did a couple setbacks, and we did Sojourner Truth Park. We planted 3 sweet gums there. So, and the neighbor came out and was all about helping to water those. I'm like, yeah, you go.
Wow, great.
So, yeah, he's very interested. So, and Tom Bassett has been bringing this friend of his who's a new planter. I can't recall his name.
Now,
But
I know that the Sojourner Truth has a dedicated master gardener group.
Yep.
Maybe they could water those trees.
I'll try to get word to them that
That would be good. Yeah, that'd be good.
I don't
Yeah.
necessarily know that they water. I think they do. They maintain the
they
planting
weed.
beds. Yeah, they do a lot of weeding. They refresh the.
Yeah.
We give them chips and things. So,
Mhm.
or a mulch, I should say.
Mhm.
But yes, please reach out.
I don't know if they live around there, but I can ask.
Okay.
Maybe the church would give them water or something across the street.
Yeah, I'm not sure
I
where
don't
they get it. I think they bring when they do plantings or replacement plantings, they bring water. They've never asked us for water.
Oh, okay.
So,
All right.
And they might be local or they might be from anywhere
Sure.
around.
Yeah.
right.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
Jen, you're doing so much. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Like to meet with
Every
you.
time I go out and plant with volunteers, it's like so worth it. People are so happy to be out there together. They're so happy to be doing something good in the world. I mean, it's really, there's a lot of laughing. There's a lot, people are happy to be
It's
doing
a
it.
huge boost to,
Yeah.
If things are getting you down in any way. I
Totally.
don't know, I won't say
Yeah.
why people might be down.
Yeah.
It's the best thing you can do.
Yeah, it's great.
Get out
People
there
are
and
really
plant a tree with some other people and
good. Yeah. Yeah, it's good. So, and Christina has done an incredible job with, she is so on top of like the whole setback thing and the communication, and she's uses, I give her a list of what we've got left, extras in the nursery, and she's out selling those specific trees.
Wow, great.
Yeah, she does an amazing job. So
Have you been have a lot of calls been coming in for people requesting setbacks?
I
Huh?
don't know, because that's not really my department.
Mhm.
I deal with procuring the trees and siting, and I check the dig safes, and we, get the dig safes in and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
we had a little flush there in the beginning, I think.
Yeah, I'm
But
looking right now. I'm loading it.
Is Christina mostly involved with setbacks or she
Oh,
does something else too?
she is our setback person, and that it's a lot of touches. Like, you have to talk to the person, you have to make an appointment and go out and meet them, and then talk to them about what they want, and it's back and forth sometimes, and then they think they get it next week, and that doesn't happen, and it takes a special kind of personality to do it. One really big one is there's on the corner of Summer Street and State Street. There was they built a new, there used to be a garage there or something. So they built a new like condo, and then this bigger house on the corner got turned into condos. They refurbished the whole thing. Um, and I think the condo association we're putting 4 trees or 5 trees on that property.
Yeah.
One
Ooh,
of them on the State Street side. So
great.
yeah, that's it. So she, and this
Yeah.
woman came out. I was helping Christina think about a particular thing, and this woman came out and was so excited, and yeah, it was amazing. So
Cool.
yeah, so I don't really yeah, she primarily does that. She also will lead planting sometimes. Like, sometimes I can't lead the Wednesday planting, and she'll lead it, meaning you have to get the tools and make sure people are going where they're supposed to go, and get all the buckets and kind of wrap the thing up, make sure everything's cleaned up and stuff. So she does that too. But the setbacks are that there's a lot of going back, retouching, getting the paperwork, it's a lot of back and forth. And then she does all the dig safes for those too. I go out and look before I put them on the list. I'll go out and look at the properties to make sure we don't have to move the stakes or if it's a problem. So
So how many setbacks do you think we've done this year? Or does
uh
anybody know?
I could find that out. I don't know. I don't know how many we did in the spring. I'd have to look.
Hmm.
Usually at the end of the season, or at the end of the year, I make a little one sheet total.
I'm just
Um,
curious whether it's
Absolutely.
like
Um,
people who are calling and requesting them or if they're places that we requested them to have a setback.
oh, good question.
we've had
Uh,
18 requests in 2025 so far.
Oh, really? That's
mhm,
great.
mhm.
Wow.
And there's some new ones in there. Thanks for prompting me, Molly. Um, we won't be able to do them this fall, but
That would be
Mhm.
worth including in our annual report.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jen has been doing that. She's been putting, oh, you mean how many people request?
Yeah, yeah. hmm Because it shows that it's not just us who wants to do it, it's other people who want it done for them.
Yeah. And in fact, what happens not uncommonly is that somebody gets trees in their yard, and then their neighbors like, wait a second, that
Yeah.
happens fairly often. Like
hmm
this Saturday, we're planting 2 on Prospect Ave. Yeah, that are
Right.
next door to each other. Yeah.
There's definitely the word of mouth helps.
Hmm.
We have the latest ones are Lake Street, James Ad, 2 from House Street, which is Tom Street, and
Oh.
at Chesterfield Road.
We're on Lake Street. That's right near me.
24.
Oh.
I'm just looking at the, sorry, I'm looking at the list of, let's see if I can do this. Of the trees planted. And Jen, that's the list that you send so far for this year, right? That you send. And I'm just looking at,
Oh, the spreadsheet.
yeah,
Hmm.
so the way that spreadsheet is really helpful. And I don't know if you're managing this data in another spreadsheet, but where it says location, we have like the actual location as sometimes as tree belt, sometimes as right of way,
Hmm.
but it doesn't necessarily, yeah, so all the setbacks that we've planted so far, according to this list this year, are the ones at the very bottom, which were
Yeah,
there was two today, and there's going to be a grouping this Saturday.
yeah,
But I don't
yeah.
know if any of those other places that we planted that say right of way or tree belt or say right of way were setback. Tree belt, I know what that is,
No.
but they're not. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
No, if it's
I only use right away where it is uh um
A continuous soil volume to the road.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
yeah,
Yeah,
that.
Okay.
that's in the right of way of where the measurement is for the
Okay.
street. Yeah.
All right.
And we
Okay.
sometimes have used park
Hmm.
as to distinguish from right away, or we'll
Yep.
do ROW
Yep.
Slash
slash
park.
park.
Yep. Like for today at
It's a
Yeah.
little
yeah.
different.
Yep.
Hmm.
Okay. That's
But if
good
it's setback, it's SB.
because
Hmm.
this data will get put into that master spreadsheet at the end of, in December.
Hmm. Hmm.
And then by then I can give Kent 2024 and 2025.
Woo!
All right.
Yay. I'm not
Uh,
gonna have to wait a year for 2025.
Woo!
Well, I
Kent,
think he's trying to make you wait for.
no. We don't want Kent to disappear. We want to keep
No.
Kent involved, right? So we just got to feed him data.
I have an
Keep
update.
them fed. Keep them
Yes.
well fed.
Yeah. Go. Any other? Is this about the planting, Kent, or something else?
It's about the map.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, we've been
Thank you.
talking, I've been working, and I'll have a button on it for you, Molly,
Oh,
that
great.
makes it go to your current location, and I
Oh,
think it will follow you around as long as the button is highlighted. I'm not certain about that. And I
wow.
also added a legend because it didn't have a legend to show
Oh,
you which
yeah.
color was which is
I
helpful.
had another question about that too. Some of the dots are bigger than others. Does that mean anything?
Um,
It might mean there's multiple dots
no, I
overlaying
don't,
each other that
it
That's what I
probably,
was wondering.
yeah, it
But,
probably means there's multiple trees that are close by because
uh,
I'm not changing the size of the dots. There's one dot for every tree.
okay.
By the way, the location data is actually the location of the house at the address. It's not the
Yeah,
actual tree location. So
right. It might take a little searching to find the actual tree.
yeah, because all I have is the address. So I geolocate that and it gives me pretty much the middle of the house usually, which is not where the trees are.
Does that map include setbacks?
It does. It includes everything that's been planted since
Okay.
2015, everything that I have data on.
If you're gonna do a setback, reach out and we should have that information, the contact, the email or the phone number before we go on private property. Because we could alarm people.
Or knock on their door.
Or, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. We're
By all
gonna have a
means.
vest on. It says Tree Northampton volunteer of some sort.
Yep.
So,
Wear your
yeah.
vest.
PPE, hard hat, glasses,
Ah,
gloves. Yeah.
we need a badge.
I don't even have a badge and I'm the tree warden. Now, come
Oh,
And
on.
man.
deputize us.
If
Stars.
that would make you happy, Sue, sure.
Acorns.
We are going to have to do something about getting you a badge, Rick.
We are,
I
Jen.
see that in your future.
Uh-huh.
Last year when they it's a tradition at Mass Tree Wardens, and I'm going off topic here, but a tradition of Mass Tree Wardens is that the outgoing president uh gives the ingoing president a gift. And it's also the same thing in New England ISA. So the outgoing president, Ed Olson, who's a good friend of mine, apparently either had forgotten or just was, only had a couple of nickels in his pocket or something. So I ended up with a Burger King crown. That's what I got.
Oh,
So I wore the Burger King crown in front of 400 and I don't know, 50 people during the conference so, yeah. So that's the extent of my badge. I don't need anything else. Thank you. I appreciate it.
you've
We
been
don't need those
crowned.
stinking badges, huh?
Yeah, no, 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 I have no badges. I have enough badges and stickers from all the things I belong to, so thank you.
But the
Wh-
point is we should wear our vests and
yeah,
identify
yes, yes,
ourselves
yes, yes. That is the point. Thank you, Sue, for straightening
because
me out.
people are on edge these days.
Yeah. Um, while we're talking about tree planting, and this is sort of under any other business not anticipated by the chair, we did receive a neighborhood tree planting application.
Hmm.
And it
Oh.
is for Robert Bruno. He's a resident that lives at 29E Sherman Avenue, which is that condo association that was built on the right-hand side of Sherman. Um, and they are requesting assistance with planting 10. They've met the minimum, so they have 10 trees. He did canvass the neighborhood. Potentially, this might be a planting that we could schedule in the spring. Was what I went and met with him and sort of walked him through the program in our conversation, and then I've been corresponding with him online. So I didn't want to say anything until we actually had an application that. So what I can do is I can package this up. It's just in a Google sheet, and I can send it to you all so you can take a look at it.
Did you say 29?
29E is his address, but they have 10 trees.
8, 9.
Yeah.
So down, oh no,
It's right in
midway,
it's in the middle of the street. Yeah.
middle. Yep.
Yep. And he has multiple locations identified with addresses.
Yeah,
Most of the trees will be in the public right away. I don't believe there's any setbacks. So just to keep
no
that,
sidewalks on most of the street.
yeah, there's not many.
Oh,
It sort of stops, but the public right away is easy to figure out there. So
Oh, good.
yeah, it would be nice. That would sort of link what we just did over on Hubbard, sort of connect the dots.
nice.
Yeah.
So, and I think actually he saw that we were planting trees on the other street when he was walking. So that's, word of mouth, right? So,
Mhm, mhm.
I think that was it. So I'll forward this to you so you can look at it. But so that will be on our another planting project.
Great.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. And then I was hoping, and I know we got 1 minute, I was hoping to have a circle back maybe at our next meeting about the remaining trees at JFK. So I'll put that on the agenda.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
hopefully David will be able to be there. So
mhm.
any other business not anticipated by the chair? All right. Well, with that said, we have 1 minute to 6, going once, going twice. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I
I will
move we adjourn.
All right. I have a
I will second.
There's a motion made and seconded to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, please raise your hand. Any nays? Any abstentions? Seeing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Bonnie.